Hi, welcome to the Grow Pair podcast, and in today's episode, I'm interviewing Cameron Blair, who is an internationally renowned videographer. He has worked with famous celebrities, YouTube stars, and now is working on Super Yachts, filming the lifestyles of the rich and famous. So if this is something that interests you, have a listen. He's going to talk about how he got into the whole industry, videography, drones, working with YouTubers and famous people. Stick around, like and comment. Every single view, every single comment, every single subscription really does help us. And I want to thank the 1,038 people who are currently subscribed. You guys have made such a difference to this podcast. But without any further ado, here he is. Cameron Blair. Okay, Cameron Blair.
That's me.
You are a jet-setting, super yacht recording, 6'5", muscle-toting monster.
Hey, that's what I do.
Yeah,
Best intro ever.
Best intro ever, man. Yeah, bro, I've been wanting, so I mean, this is episode like 27 or 28 or something, right? And I've been wanting to have you on since before episode 1. We spoke about it.
We've spoken about this for a while, and
yes.
now we're here.
And by complete fluke, we both end up in the same place at the same time, like fate, kismet, call it whatever you want to. But yeah, we're able to chat and talk, and you're doing some flippin' exciting stuff. So, like, I want this episode to be the before picture of you, even though it's kind of middle of your journey. But this is the before picture, and then in like 2 years' time, we're going to do this again, or a year's time, we're going to do it again. It's going to be the during, and then another one will be the after, and then you're going to be like balling, owning your own $50 million super yachts.
We'll be in business then.
We'll be in business.
We'll make it happen. Cool.
So,
exciting.
okay, cool. So you told me the other day that you are skitting off to like the Caribbean and France and all these kinds of places. What exactly are you doing? And then we can go from there. We'll dive into your past a little bit, but I'm keen to see like let's do like what are you doing now, and then we can go on like how you got here. Yeah.
So, currently right now I've got a media company with 2 other mates, and we are basically filming different super yachts and adventures, explorer yachts, all the adventures to be had out there / luxury living. And it's a very fun industry to be in. I mean, I love the whole film side of things, and I've recently dove into international travels and the whole yacht scene. And yeah, there's what's the saying, the world's the oyster.
Yes.
There's a lot going on there. So we've started that recently in the last couple of months. The guys are heading off to Monaco just to go to one of those boat shows so they can wheel and deal and network, get some jobs in. And then I'll either be heading off to France or I'll be heading off to the Florida boat show and make some
And you
adventures.
just talk like this is normal life for you now, eh? I mean, this dude from
Fake it till you make it, eh?
from Kloof KZN, and now it's like, just like either France or maybe Florida, Monaco the week after,
Manifesting it, baby, manifesting it. Yeah.
This little thing that you started now, I mean, you've been in film for a long, long time. You've done some big stuff, and like we can dive into that. We met when we were both working for a YouTube guy, and you were the film guy, I was running operations, and we kind of met and clicked, and it's been
love ever since, eh?
Dude, love ever since.
Bromance.
Bro, I cry at night sometimes. Lee has to hold me.
Some nights.
Every night.
There we go.
And I'd always looked at like film guys and gone, and it's out of my own ignorance, and gone like, man, it can't be that hard. You're pointing a camera for crying in a bucket.
Pushing buttons.
You're pushing buttons, and editing is not that hard. Like, I mean, you put it in a program and you click, and next thing is done, And I remember watching you pitch up a graft at like 8 o'clock or 10 to 8 or 7:30, whatever it was, and you just be glued to that PC until 5 o'clock, walk out ragged, and like I can't do another kapow or another another whatever, and you're like tracing these images across the screen frame by frame, and it's a hell of a lot of work.
The thing there was I was a one-man band, and I mean it was a cool gig. Being there with dingoes, it was all the animals and adventures we would go on. It was lots of fun. The one thing I struggled was the editing. I'm not made to sit in a chair, and so most days were probably editing. And I find myself jobs now, jobs before then. When you're doing a lot of freelance work and you're as a one-man band, editing is part of the 3 stages of production. You get pre-production, production, and post-production.
I thought you were going to say the 3 stages of grief. Sorry, what are those 3 again?
So it's pre-production, where you plan everything, organize, write the script. Then it leads into production. That's when you charge up the stuff and you start shooting it all, capturing everything, directing, producing it, making sure you have everything. And then it's post-production, where it's the editing and the voiceovers and putting it all together. So you're basically writing the story 3 times during each production stage. And I don't enjoy the post-production. So when I have some extra cash to throw at an editor, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I'll watch over that guy's shoulder for days instead of having to do it myself. Jeez. But I do struggle sitting down. I like to be on the move and making things happen, for sure.
I mean, you probably know a million editors, but I'll add another one because I've got one in Cape Town. He's quite good.
I have a whole line of them if I had to.
So, I mean, I look at that and I just go, okay, cool. I learned a hell of a lot just watching you in like the 5 months that we worked together, and seeing it. And the fun part, I think, that we used to do is we'd like sit like during lunchtime, brainstorm ideas, and I can see
about
everything. You're like absolutely anything. It's like, oh, I've got this business idea. We'll talk about that now. And this would be a great video. Maybe not in line with what we're doing now, but like that would be a kiff idea. And then like, oh, what about this idea for this? And I mean, you've got a great mind with that kind of stuff. You've come up with some genius videos that have been out there, done good, and all of that. And then you move over to this yacht thing, which, I mean, where we were was very, I want to say it politely or the right way, but it was very rough. Kind of just bootstrap it, MacGyver it as we go.
2 contrasts. That you're getting at, for sure.
And then onto your yacht videos, which maybe still felt a little bit like that the first few for you, but then you came out to these like, 2 beautiful girls walking through this yacht, Maserati, not quite, but and they're talking about like all this fancy stuff, and it was like, I looked at them like, damn boy, that's a video.
It was fun. It was really fun, and I had that same thought when I was on there, because I'd obviously reminisce of the path getting there, and I thought about where we were and stuff, and even stuff before that, and I find myself in a different place like every year, like whether it's doing wildlife stuff, doing luxury real estate, or podcasts. I love first time things, and it just makes you grow those kind of things. But the filming of the yachts was definitely very special. It was out there and something I've never done before, and it's opened my eyes to the world, and I got to experience things that a lot of people don't even know exist. And it was definitely eye-opening.
Well, when on that one video where the guy spoke about the price of like some of the food,
mental.
Bro, I was like, that's almost my month's budget for food for Lee and me, like, and it's like this plate with the thing and a foamy thing on top, whatever, and I'm like, It's a lot of food, and it's a lot of money, and it's not just for the guests and the owners, also for the crew, and like so I was very close with the
the chef on board.
That's a good move.
No, it's a great move.
Always make friends with the guy cooking the food.
And it was so easy and organic because he was like the best guy ever. He was such a good soul. Named Eddie. Shout out Eddie. Great guy. Love him. And he would be cooking in the kitchen, so talented.
Yeah.
And he would always give me like a little slither of Wagyu steak. That shit melts in your mouth. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up with the pap and the braai vleis and the boerewors and the Durban curries and all that. And beautiful. I wouldn't change it for the world. And then you go on that side and it's a bit of a culture shock because it's also now a class thing, you know?
Yes.
Because we're not like
But
going to
you're not
Spar to
jumping.
go
You're
get.
not jumping one level there. You jumping. Like
Oh, yeah, rags to
15
riches story.
Yeah, like 15 levels. You know, like I've worked in a few 5-star hotels, and I was like, oh, this is la di da. And then I saw what you were doing, and I'm like, oh wait, that's la di da 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 da.
Yeah,
da.
the whole verse
Yeah.
of Dadas.
It's
It's crazy. It's crazy. The food there was definitely a selling point for like the videos and the charters because, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about, if it's not private owned, if it's like it's owned for like, you know, business reasons to get charters on. Like those charters are expensive. Like you're thinking like 8 million rand for 1 week just to go on there with your family or friends. So a selling point is like the services, like what you're going to get up to and how they're going to like, you know, spend your week and, you know, treat you. And the food is a big one because people want to be treated like royalty, you know?
Yeah.
You're going on a super yacht, you want to be treated like the rich and famous with the glitz and the glam. So yeah, it's a crazy life. Crazy life,
insane,
my man. Crazy.
Your history. So I know a little bit because I mean we chatted, but where did you start? Where did it come from? Like what was the well, Cam getting into video? How did it all come about, right?
You're asking me those questions like a blur. It's just files. It's going through my head.
I made a decision one day. I was going to film stuff. 15 years later, where am I?
Man, it's literally like that right now. I would say it started in high school. So I was like a naughty shit that didn't do well in academics because I didn't like push myself in that direction. Like,
That's why you and me get along well.
yeah,
bro.
man.
I'm not
We
an
both can't
academic
read.
guy,
No, but yeah. So it was basically I cared about three things in high school. I cared about, you know, being friends with everyone. I cared about sports. I just wanted to play all the sports and drama. I love drama and being on stage and stuff.
and girls.
And girls, of course. But they fall into the friends category, you know? So it was like the last couple of weeks of school, and everyone was studying for exams and stuff. Not me. But I had one of the girls come up to me and said, Cam, we need to do the end of year video. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. So then I organized the camera from one of my classmates, and I started learning this thing, and then me and friends went out, and we made a video, and I loved the whole process of it. Everything, even the editing at that stage. And I remember playing it for the whole hall, and everyone laughed, and they loved it. They saw themselves in it, and they saw the story I painted, and they cried, and they were happy, and all these emotions. And I realized it was such a good way to, you know, tell stories. And I just fell in love with that whole process that I ended up studying it at DET, City Campus, video technology. I did my 4 years there, got a bachelor's degree, and more, I just fell in love with the whole process. And then started working. It's led me to some amazing adventures, like all around the country, all around different parts of Africa. And yeah, flip, if I had to tell you every story, it would be the world's longest podcast. But that's basically how
Joe
how I
Rogan's
got
done a
it.
couple of like 5-hour ones.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
No, gosh, no.
They're not skilled at taking a conversation to the end.
You would have to resuscitate me, hey? Flip. But yeah, that's pretty much it's all in a nutshell. And then I just started like experimenting with like stuff like GoPros and, you know, bringing into my lifestyle of surfing and yeah, it's sure, going back on it, it's funny how we live like 10 years of something and we don't reminisce too much. And now that we're having a conversation, you actually think about it and you're like, wow, all these stories are coming back. But it was amazing because I've also found my friend group within film. I have, in the early days, I started doing some real estate jobs, and then I found mates who were also doing real estate that were in a very similar mindset and belief system and whatnot. And it's also good to see how they've blossomed and grown and how we've all grown together. Some friends that I've been with since we were 8 years old started studying with me as well, and then we all in different parts of film around the world. So yeah, it's been an incredible adventure, I must say. All the different things, like the contrast we were talking about earlier. It's been amazing.
Okay, man. The beginning of your career, what like where did you, I mean, you did the high school thing, the bug bit, you found the passion. I mean, I'm assuming you then started videoing everything you possibly could almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
then you go study for 4 years, you get your bachelor's. Like what's the next step then for young Cam?
So it actually started on my fourth year. I was Drones came out, and I was like, "Wow, these drones are cool." So I ended up um, applying for a grant at university, which I did for like research purposes, and then I did a research paper on drones, and they paid me some cash to make a video with, and I spent it all in on a drone, and
As one does.
yeah, I was like, I'm getting that thing. That thing looks cool. So I ended up getting a drone, and I loved it. I had so much fun with it. I was getting all these jobs as well because it was new technology at the time, and I was a newbie in the film industry. It really helped me like level up a bit because I'm now going on these big film sets or following this crew that's doing a documentary in the wild, and they need a drone operator. And instead of coming out of film school and being like a runner or an assistant, I got to be a camera operator because I had this drone. And that started me on my adventures. And it, funny enough, gave me a different perspective on a lot of things. Like you live in your house or you go to these same places, but now that you're flying a drone, it's a different perspective. I mean, like, oh my gosh, that road there obviously links to that road, and like, is that what my pool looks like? Like, I need to put some chlorine in there, So you definitely do see these different things, and that was an amazing time. And like I said, I ended up going and doing all these different shoots, and I did that for a year. And that first year was very magical. Like that was a lot of fun. It really got the gears going for film for myself, and then law started creeping in, and it became quite a big thing, and there was a lot of like talk in the film industry and even in the the media and like this with your everyday person about like, oh, people are going to go to jail, fines, and you have a license. So I was like, cool, I'm going to get licensed, and ended up doing the whole shebang. It was a mission, like lots of money, lots of time, investment. I had to go to Joburg to do a practical, and then they give you a ticket, and it's like, here you go, you can fly. And I'm like, yeah. But then it's like this whole other process where you have to go under like an umbrella company, and then they take a big percentage, and the laws just kept like changing, and the goalposts kept moving, and that happened for a year. So the first year was magical, and the second year was like, what am I doing? Like I'm moving out of film and now becoming an aviation pilot. And I was actually started a business with a friend of mine, Stu. We did a company called Aviate Africa, and it became more of an aviation company than a film company. And we were spending more time trying to follow the regulations. And then all these stories were coming out that it was like a very gray area, and we weren't getting jobs now because people were flying under the scene who didn't have licenses, and they were making the money, and we weren't able to because we had to charge so much more to be able to pay for the fees, pay for our license and stuff. So we ended up scrapping that. But beautiful time, lovely time. Travel, new perspectives, new friends. Got me into the film industry, a lot of contacts. Everyone loves drones. Everyone loves
Bro,
drones.
to this day.
Obama loved drones, you know?
Obama really liked drones. I scroll through Facebook and like, Marketplace. And I was like, oh man, oh that drone, it's like a quarter of the price. Oh man, no, leave it alone. Because then I checked also like what's it cost to get like certified now.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. But yeah.
Yeah, oh man, that's another story for another podcast.
Yeah.
Man. They are
It's a
intense.
tough one, man. Yeah. You've worked with some big companies and entities. I want to say like, I don't know if it was exact, but I'll probably get some of them wrong. But Discovery Channel and that style or that kind of guys. Tell me a bit more about that, because that sounds like like you worked for Nat Geo or you worked for Discovery. It's like it sounds like
Sure.
It sounds big.
So yeah, I've worked with a lot of different corporations and brands. Yeah, I don't actually know where to start with them, to be honest, because like everyone's different. Like every brand has a different, marketing structure or emotion or story that they want to tell, which has been amazing being a freelancer because you don't know where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So I have a friend called Harshan, big film guy here in Durban, producer, very into the film game, knows his stuff. And he called me one day because he got my contact from a person of a family member of a person.
Hey, referrals, bro.
Referrals, man. Network.
Lifeblood of the freelance agent.
So he ended up calling me and said, can you come do a shoot tomorrow? And I was like, cool, I'll be there. Actually, this was the shoot that made me realize I need to start asking people what are we shooting? Because I was like, we're probably going to do a sit-down interview. It's going to be boring. 2 hours later, meet the guy, shake his hand. I'm in a bee suit, like this huge bee suit with like tens of thousands of bees. And like holding it, I'm going, I love my life. Just hope I don't get stung. So that was an eye-opener. But that's what I'm getting at, is like one day you could be shooting for this granny whose product is like selling like children's books and knitting DIY equipment. And then the next day you're like smelling the breath of a crocodile,
Yes,
the story. So every day is different, and I think that's what's so nice about not having just like a 9 to 5 or working for one company. And if you're a freelancer, like I've been in the video game, people see the value in your work, so they want to work with you. So you're doing one thing here. And I love that because it's a very exciting life working with all these different brands. And I think the goal is just to carry on working with more and more different brands because they all have different mindsets. You learn different things. It's every day something new. It's it's a nice way to live life.
No doubt.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It comes with its pros and cons. Like a month goes by and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish that brand would call me again. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Even trying to set today up, I mean, we kind of up until almost yesterday didn't know that we were going to be sitting, because you were I'm on call, bro, like I could be gone literally in 12 hours, and if that's the case, sorry.
Such a horrible way. I've got priorities.
No, dude, I would never stand in the way of that. But it's that kind of life where I mean, like now in the next couple of weeks you're going to fly out somewhere. You're leaving family behind, you're leaving girlfriend behind, your whole life, your car sits here, and it's like, you're still paying for the car, but you're not driving the car. There's
a lot of risk involved.
There's a lot of risk. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think sometimes people, I look at this like the yacht life or whatever, or even just that kind of life, and I think, how cool would that be? And then I have to, I bring myself back and I go, okay, well, what's the logic? Where's the reasoning behind it, or the logic? And go, if I was to do it, I would have to leave my wife behind. Or make enough money that I could drag her with, and then it's like, then you the reality start hitting. Like, I'm not sleeping in my own bed whilst sure it might be a nice hotel, it's not my bed.
Yeah.
That you know, it doesn't have the body shape.
Majority of it's also in the whole cabin and stuff. So you probably have a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're on a
small
boat,
living.
that's a whole different story then. Yeah.
Different story, man. Different story.
When we chatted, I would say probably 2 years ago, you said to me that you were more interested, like you said, not so much editing, but you were more interested in the production of video. So like you always see, I always see it, Marvel's Avenger thing, and then it's like executive producer and sub-producer, whatever, producer this and producer, and like I always look at them and we're like, oh, okay, cool. And then the more that I speak to you, and even now I'm like still learning, which is like so cool. But the more I speak to you, the more, like you mentioned just now, the crafting of the story. And like as I've been going through my journey, even with the podcast, like I try and keep this super relaxed and just conversational. I try not come in with any preconceived ideas outside of extracting as much value out of you as I can, you know, and for the people, you know, watching kind of thing. But you're going on a different angle. And then like now, I'm shooting this podcast. We had the GoPro shooting me setting this up, and that's for like a vlog style thing. So I'm learning this storytelling vibe, and I'm bad at it. It's like I know
you're doing
I'm
a good
bad.
job. Doing a good job. I've seen you grow. You've been doing really well, man. Don't take my job.
No, not at all. But and I'm like learning now. So like I'm shooting this vlog thing, and I've got a bunch of footage, and my brain has been ticking. And I was like dreaming about it last night, going, "How am I going to knit this together for a story?" You know, like so that someone actually wants to watch the 10 minutes on YouTube. You know, the podcast is different. We get talk and you throw a story out. Oh, that was funny, and people watch it and great. You know, but that production of it, like what does that look like? If you were to now say some YouTube star or wannabe star comes up and says, "Yo, Cam, I want to do a series of videos." Like, how does that whole process start? What does it look like? I'm asking tough questions here, bro.
It's a very
nuanced.
It's a very detailed question because
You don't have to go like deep, but
deep enough.
Deep enough.
I got it. I think it's the best. So you got to remember the whole idea is story is king. So anyone can just switch the camera on, do a vlog, and show their day and stuff. But we're living in a time as well where attention's everything.
Yeah.
And everyone's attention span is like a goldfish. So the irony there is, you know, it's one thing, but story is king. And I would say shooting with intention is very important. And that kind of is the foundation for your building blocks. So have an intention, find the story, focus on that, and remember you're always telling the story 3 times. So get super deep into, you know, what is you going to shoot, how you're going to shoot it, organizing everything, having your preparation all set and ready so you have less issues on the day. And then it comes down to the day where you're shooting. Focus on, you know, it doesn't really matter about quality most of the times, or the actual like angles or, you know, the perfect shot. We've noticed that people are shooting on a potato, so to speak, and they just documenting. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
There's a saying in film where we'll fix it in post because you're trying so hard and you're on limited time to try and get that shot and you're not getting it because of whatever reason. So fix it during the edit.
Yeah.
So you'll fix it there, whatever, and then you go there and you put it all together and you're always like, oh, that's an awesome shot. I don't know about that. Oh, it's not coming together anymore. Oh, there we go. It's all come together. So you're going through these waves of emotions, and then at the end of it, you have something. So it's you always have a vision, and it never comes out as that vision, no matter how hard you try. So I would say focus on story, shoot with intention, and just go out there and document stuff, and it'll come together. Definitely will.
That document thing, so like I bring it up way too often, but Gary V, was always document, don't create. Document, don't create. That's what people want to see. And then you look at the Casey Neistats of the world, and even Gary V, and I'd go as far as even the Tate brothers, and all of these guys are just doing this sort of almost interesting life, within whatever niche it is, or if they're like multiple niches and whatever. You can, I mean, like you say, you're prepping, making sure you're at giving the best possible like chance to tell the story. Where's the line? And I know you've crossed the line. We don't need to like necessarily talk about it, but you've been involved in some videos. And I remember you coming to me after a shoot once that you did, and we spoke, and you were like, bro, this is the biggest piece of rubbish I've ever done. I feel awful. I don't want to do this. I remember chatting about it. I was laughing at you. And then when I saw the video, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, where's the line between something that's genuine and something that's disingenuous? Because there is a line. Like, I mean, I could have sent you a list of questions up front and be like, bro, this is the story I want to tell. I want to extract exactly this, and this, and this. And I think, like, for me at least, I look at it and I go, at least in what I'm doing, I'll miss the gems if I structure it too much. Because I can ask a question and be thinking in one direction, but you answer it in a different way because your experiences or your knowledge of an industry, like that line, how hard is it? Well, I mean, how do you not cross the line? Maybe is a better question,
I think personally it's you just trying to be as genuine as possible. People are getting really good now at figuring out what's fake or not.
Yes.
Back in the day, like, people used to love the Kardashians, keeping up with the Kardashians, whatnot, and they would be able to see. What's that sound?
No idea.
I think it was a bird outside.
It might have been. It sounded almost like a phone, but no, I don't know.
Let me quickly switch it off just in case it is my phone. You know what?
WhatsApp call or something.
Business, baby.
Business, friend. Gotta get some money.
So yeah, for example, the Kardashians. I think it was back in like the early 2000s where reality TV was like very new. Now it's like all over. Everyone's on a reality TV show, documenting their lives and stuff. Like TikTok and vlogging, it's almost small reality slices of your life. And you would look at keeping up with the Kardashians now, or Jersey Shore or whatever, and you'd be like, oh my God, that's so fake.
Yeah.
What she's saying is like, it's so scripted, and obviously in film, I can tell you right now, they're all scripted.
Yeah.
And people are catching on and have been for a while now that stuff's not real. Like, it's not. But back in the day, you would fight with your friends saying, no, this is real.
Totally real, bro.
This is
totally real.
100%.
I know a guy who knows a guy who was videoing real, and it was real.
Yeah, he was a script writer on that show. 100% real. So I think that it's really hard to fake stuff now these days. Really, really, really hard. So people are leaning more towards the genuine kind of people. Like when someone's like super over dramatic, because back in the day when vlogs started becoming a thing and people would have to be like really like extravagant and charismatic and almost cartoon like in order to keep someone's attention.
I was like, it's too much.
Yeah.
Well, now it seems like it's too much.
Yeah. People, they would scream at the camera and like, hey, welcome to the vlog or whatever. And I think we are moving away from that. But it's tricky because you say, where's the line? And at the same time, we're making like AI content and we're making all these different forms of long form and short form that, my cousin said it best once, that we have these sub-communities that we're finding ourselves in. Like, you might be into like a niche of podcasting and I'm in a niche of, I don't know, poetry. Yeah, exactly. So poetry, different strokes for different folks, I guess, is a theme we could touch on. But it's we're in the transition stages of what's happening right now, because videos have been getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And
But then the podcasts are doing the opposite.
exactly.
It's so weird because I talk to a lot of people. So like I'm part of the South African Guild of Podcasters kind of thing. You know,
Yes.
there's like 280 people on this. I'm like, what do you mean there's 280 podcasters in South Africa? And there's more. Like every day we're getting new guys. You talk to those oaks and they all focus long form. You know, so it's like 30 minutes up kind of thing. Then you talk to oak like Clean Cut Scully, who was on the podcast earlier in the year, and he's more TikTok and shorts and Instagram reels, and he's all about the sub 1 minute video. Like, and he's like, no, well, that's the way. And then the podcast, no, that's the way. And then you get your YouTube guys who are doing 10-minute videos.
Yeah.
And I noticed the other day, I haven't really been paying attention, but I noticed the other day, Mr. Beast's videos, big boy, like the guy, his videos all used to be 10, 12 minutes long. They're now in the 30 minutes long. Like, I'm going, when did that change? How, everyone's saying go shorter. This guy's going longer. Podcasts are going insane.
Yeah.
But everything's popular. So do you think it's niching down into people are figuring out what they want? Or
I think it is. I think the older generations definitely enjoy long form stuff, sitting back on their, chairs at night
bro,
after
that's
dinner.
Me. So I'm the oldest.
I feel that too.
Oh gosh.
And then they end up like watching stuff on YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think younger generations are more, TikTok and quick form. Also, like, depending on what you like, sometimes people are super into learning about stuff, and you can't learn stuff in like 5-second videos. Sometimes you need long form stuff for them to go over each section. Although that being said, there is videos on TikTok where you can learn stuff. TikTok's taught me a whole lot of things, Although I don't like being on it too much, otherwise I just get hypnotized into a blob.
Yeah.
It's like I said, we're in this transition stage at the moment, and you don't know how things are going to look in like 2 years from now, because when we first met and we were doing YouTube for that company, things were much different then. And a year before it was much different.
Yes.
And the game just keeps changing. And I think that's what it is. It's a game at the end of the day. And you have to figure out, okay, what are the skills that I need to know? You need to figure out, do you want to play a character or do you want to be genuine? What's your message? Where are these polls moving? What's the algorithm doing right now? And I think that's why people love it so much, because it's the biggest game on earth right now in regards to, making money, to building a business or a brand, or getting yourself out there and creating, being creative. It's a very interesting place to be. I'm sure you're enjoying the whole YouTube side of things.
Yeah, I was chatting to some sales guys the other day. So I work in IT. That's I'm a sales guy. I'm not an IT guy, but I work in an IT company now. And I was chatting with a sales team. So I've always been sales. That's been a lot of my sales operations. That's my passion, And chatting to where was I going with this now?
Your YouTube.
Oh, the YouTube stuff, yeah. And I was asking their sales guys, and they had a bit of a downturn. And I said to the guys, how many training videos have you watched this week? And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, why aren't you watching training videos? You should be watching on YouTube, and you type in there cold call sales techniques, and there's 50 bajillion videos about objection handling and opening phrases, and do you make a joke here? Do you throw this in? Do you that? And there's a whole, like what you say, like you knit this whole thing together. Sales is the same deal. And I found it like the podcasting, right? So when I started this, before I shot my first podcast, I probably watched 50 videos on how to podcast. And now I've been doing it for next month's a year, because I started September. Yeah, so this month's a year.
Nice.
So I did 2 episodes, and then I took like a 5-month break because I lost my studio, and then I carried on, and now it's been almost every single week since then. That was April. And I still, to this day, last night, I mean, I was editing a video, sitting in bed editing a video, finished it this morning quickly. But after I was editing, I was like, oh, wait, hold on, I need to still learn something. I was onto YouTube watching a video on like a video editing technique, on how you can do a transition that looks really cool. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That was like a 35-minute video, the guy going through DaVinci Resolve and all of that, and learning. And then it's like, I mean, I'm watching videos on how to talk, how to speak, how to articulate, how to not say all the time. So if you go back in my podcasts, and it's now got a bit of a body of work, which is quite cool.
Nice, yeah.
But in the beginning, now I don't. And then I just did it. But yeah, I'm consciously always editing myself and learning. And then you dive into the analytics in YouTube and I mean, I open my phone onto that YouTube studio and it's like, hey, hold on. The video dropped off here. Why? What was there? Go back, find the video there. Oh, okay, the oak was swearing a bit too much. Or the story, actually, you know what? The story died a bit. Okay, I need to be careful of that. Or like now, I'm talking for way too long.
No, I'm loving it. Sorry, guys, but I'm loving it.
Yeah. And so I try and do that, where I try and limit what I say to 3 minutes, because the podcast is not technically about me, it's about you. And then my wife, and I've said now 50 times, but like my wife will tell me, and she goes, Lee's lovely with this kind of stuff. She's my biggest fan and my biggest critic, all wrapped into one thing. She said I had to say hello to you and like make sure I gave you a big hug. And
awesome.
The thing about it, you've got to dive so in, and there's so many complexities, and you have to, like you were saying just now, the authenticity of it needs to be real. And I think whether you're playing a character, and I'll go back to Clean Cut Scully again, he's got Bad Brad is his character, the Joburg Boot. That is his character, but it's authentic. Then you've got him himself, which is a different person completely, but he's authentic. And that, I think, is what people are picking up on. When you, like I always say, you've got like Strengths Finder, that sort of personality profile testing, and they give you 34 strengths, and one of them is woo, right? Which is winning others over. And we know a couple of people that have got this woo thing, and if someone's always trying to win you over, which I see on these YouTube videos, it becomes disingenuous. It's like, hold on, you've won me. Why are you still trying? Something's dodgy here. It becomes, you lose that authenticity.
They're selling too much almost.
Yeah. Or making too much noise, or being
That's
too
why
brash.
attention is so important. To be able to, share a message or say something, or if it's a brand and you're trying to sell something, you got to close it.
Yes.
Because otherwise, it's everything has a life cycle. Like, this would be a great podcast for a certain amount of time, but then when we go into like the 10-hour mark, it's like,
it's too much.
Why are these guys still talking? There's -1 viewers at the moment, like
negative.
So, but you do learn it, and I think YouTube is a great platform to learn anything. I mean, when I first found out about YouTube, I learned guitar, and then I learned things about surfing styles, or lots of stuff about film and that. So YouTube is a place where you can learn these things, and I think we'll discover it as it goes. Definitely so. If you
were to talk to a young laddie, I've got my guy that I always talk on the podcast is Frikkie. He's my fictitious biggest fan. I think people, like the people that watch the videos all the time, like I've had a few of them message, people message you after videos, I mean, yo bro, Frikkie. But like I see Frikkie as this young dude, maybe, a mullet and a wife beater, the white vest, and I don't know, that's just why I see him like that. And that's who, right in the beginning, when I'm going to do this podcast, Lee asked me, who are you doing it for? And I was like, okay, she's like, because you can't do it for you, because it's not going to come across right. Who are you doing it for? And I invented Frikkie for lack of a better person, but there's Frikkie, and I do this for Frikkie. And having that kind of direction, or having that kind of, okay, cool, we're doing this for a person or for a vertical, like you use the lingo, what's your niche? Or, blah, blah, blah. I think it keeps you solid, because this, especially the way I'm doing this podcast, can go anywhere. I mean, I had a gynecologist on 2 videos ago. I've got a camera guy, I had a golf greenkeeper, a YouTube star. I've got people.
You're showing to everyone.
Everybody. And it could end up being this very messy, thing. And then I tie it all down to my purpose, which is to motivate people to literally grow a pair and do something.
I love that. I must say, the best thing about it is your logo, bro. Just
the Avos, bro.
The Avos. I love an Avo.
Last night, I get out the plane, right? I'm walking down the corridor, and there was this couple in front of me, and they had this little baby, maybe 2.5 or 3 years. So walking, and the kid turned around, and I'm a little imposing when I'm on a mission. When I'm walking, you would have seen me it's like, oh, stuff's going down now, Des is marching,
Yeah, move out the way.
And so I was hustling, because I was sitting the whole plane ride, and my sciatics are killing me, and I'm like, no, let's get a walk in. So I was stomping down the thing, and I'm, jacket on, and, the beard and all that. And this kid turned around and got a fright. And I laughed a bit, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, this kid's picking up on imposing 6'1" Des, and the mom looked around and saw me, and she smiled, and she was feeling bad that the kid was scared of me. And I walked past, and I said, oh no, it's scared of the Mlungus, eh? And she starts laughing. And as I walked past, and I had this, another one of these shirts on, and we kind of had this little exchange. She was like, I love your shirt. I dig the Avos. I was like, thank you. She's like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, it's a podcast. And she's like, what? Podcast? Really? A South African podcast? I'm like, yeah. She's like, where do I find you? And I love the fact that we can do stuff like this and people watch it. There is a Frikkie or a Susanna or a whoever sitting out there, and they can watch this stuff and get some kind of value out of it. And I lose my mind for it. I mean, some of my videos, I've got a lot of my friends watch my stuff, which is odd. Being on camera and now having people watching you talk. Oh, that's weird, bro. It's so weird.
No.
But I get these messages. So I had Dr. Celeste on 2 videos ago, or 3 videos ago, and she's a specialist gynecologist. And people are like, Des, why? Grow a pair? Really? You've got a gynecologist coming on? And I'm like, well, you can grow a pair of ovaries. This is not a guy's show. And she came on and spoke about all the stuff about reproductive health. I've got mates of mine messaging me going, yo, Des, that video was insane. I didn't know. I didn't know. I sat with my wife last night. We watched it together, and she learned stuff. And we've booked her into to go get a checkup, because we didn't know this. And then another lady messages me, hey, Des, thank you so much. Bro, that episode was so great. I've booked an appointment with the doctor now. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Did we just change lives? Did we just one, bro? Just one. I lose my mind for it. I'm like, cool, pack the whole thing up, we're done. We changed a life, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But there's so much power behind this. There's so much...
For sure.
There's so much responsibility. I feel it. Because now I've got 1,000 people subscribed. What the heck? There's 1,000 people that potentially will watch this and get some value out of it. Now, there's so much...
That's amazing what you do, and you're saying that, you bring it back to the one guy, but the fact that you're chatting to so many different people that are doing great things and having all these different walks of life, it means that you can touch something inside basically anyone, because there's, people that, have to go to the gynecologist. There's people that are interested in getting a tattoo. There's someone who's interested in getting into film or becoming an athlete. So you could do a podcast every single day for the rest of your life, and there'll be a new topic. You won't be able to do it all. Yeah. That's what's so great about what you do. You'll never run out of ideas, run out of people.
Diary of a CEO, another monster. I saw the book the other day. I'm going to buy it. I saw it and I was like, damn. And I didn't realize it was
got the book right here.
Guys, get this and read it.
What are the chances?
Bro, Stephen Bartlett. And I watched some of his stuff a while back. He had a guy on that spoke to him, and he does 2 a week, which is nuts. Runs like 15 or 20 businesses and then produces 2 podcasts a week. And he was chatting to this guy, like an Indian guy, I think. And he was saying, yeah, we're thinking about doing a 3rd one every week. And the guy said to him, no, man, you're mad. He's like, he said, here's the stats for you quickly. And he said, like, here's how many people have written books in the last year in England alone. And it was like this huge number. And he goes, so at 2 a week, you can do like 100 odd videos then every year. You haven't even scratched 1% of the people. You can podcast 3 times a day for the rest of your life, and you're not going to get everybody. And actually, I said to him, like, leave some space for the other guys. But there's so much out there. I love it. Like, you can't go wrong. And I was saying to you earlier, like, I've told people, like, we don't do mobile. I don't do this ever. Don't like it. It's, but I'm here. I wanted you on. And it's like, sorry, man, I can't afford to come to Monaco and rent a studio there. So.
Well, it's an honor.
And I looked at it also and I was like, sure, I've chased away people that are great, that I really want, but they weren't able or willing to come to the studio, and I've put them off. And then there's certain ones where I was just like, well, there's value here and I want this value done, we're doing it. But I could interview videographers for the rest of my life and never get through.
Yeah.
Never get through it all. There's so much space out there, which is segueing into what I want to ask you next. Long-winded nonsense.
Hey, we got you.
I can talk. How does someone get into it now? Like, if you were to give advice, 3 little pieces of advice or something for young Frikkie who wants to get into either whatever, like videoing or even the social media vibe, the whole the video side of it. What are we looking at? What do we have to do?
Well, I went more the traditional way.
Sure.
Because I probably wouldn't be here today. I needed some authority, So I think the university was good for me.
I have a
film
bachelor's.
School.
I know what I'm doing. Nowadays people are like, I have 100,000 followers on TikTok. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we were chatting about earlier on YouTube and learning stuff from there, because you get the entertainment side and you get the education side, and you can just find things out if you're passionate about it, and you can become obsessed with any topic, like film. Just type on your computer, how to get started in film. Okay, you need a camera. Or what's a good beginner camera? And you learn like that. And then you will find what it is. So you could be a wildlife videographer, and that's what it is. Or you could be a videographer, but in extreme sports or in filming chess. I don't know. My cousin is actually a great example of this. So he was living in America for most of his life, and then he came out to, he's actually got a beautiful story, Blair Austin, and he's got a documentary on YouTube that pretty much explains it all. His YouTube name is Blair, like Blair but barrel.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like combined.
We'll put the link in the description of this.
So he was so passionate about photography, and he was taking his little camera around everywhere, taking photos of everything. And then when he came to South Africa, he was a waiter, and he was, not too sure what he wanted to do. And then one day he came for a surf with me and the boys, and he fell in love with, the whole idea of being out in the water. And then he found out, that guys like to do documentaries and photography of surfing stuff. So he got a little housing. And then, he went from not being able to swim very well to now swimming every single day, backline, taking the most incredible pictures, because he became obsessed with it and the passion with it. And if he had that same mindset for wildlife, he would have made it happen in wildlife. It's about learning the skills, being passionate about your craft, and knowing the direction you want to go into. So for myself, I'm doing a whole bunch of different things. I've got a little brand. I've got a production company with these guys where we film yachts. But my passion is South Africa. I want to come back here and start a production company in Cape Town, and
Yes.
and bring
Yes.
awareness on lots of
Cape
things.
Town.
Cape Town, I'll be there, my bro. So at the end of the day, it's learning the skills, learning about the industry, and then attaching that skill set of getting into videography, photography, with something that lies close to your heart, because it's quite hard to juggle, work and passion, and being able to play with a camera, every other day is a lot of fun, but it's also, it becomes work where you have to do it for other people. So if you can focus into a niche that really drives you and something that you're already interested in, so like you're a great communicator, and then you found that taking this whole setup and learning about film and attaching it to that,
Yes.
you'd be great. So
Yes.
people can end up being in a place where it becomes stale because they've attached the skill to something that they're not interested about. Like if I was filming ballet, I probably wouldn't be filming anything. I'll just get over it. So I would say to that kid, that friccio, learn the skill set as much as you can, become obsessed with it, and attach it to something you really enjoy. Because then you'll never work a day in your life because you enjoy what you do.
Yeah. And I enjoy doing this.
Well, there you
Like,
go.
I love talking to people.
Lekker. Not working at all, bro.
Okay,
Stuff.
so we're going to dive into something a little different quickly now. You gave me a pair of undies, effectively. What is okay, so you're an entrepreneur extreme. Like this is something else that we love talking about, is business.
Business, baby.
You've seen it through the whole talk today. You were like, yo, I started a business with this. I started a business with that. And all that kind of jazz. You've got a brand called Hundies.
Hundies.
Hundies. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. That's the one.
And tell me quickly what that's about.
So Hundies is an active apparel brand that I'm slowly building up, and it's, at the moment, we have a whole bunch of different ideas that we want to work with, but at the moment we just have the one piece, which is like effectively like compression shorts. It's like cycling shorts, running shorts. They have a pocket so you can put it in. And I know that there's a lot of active people out there. I'm one of them. I love running. I love cycling. I love going for adventure. And it's my favorite pair of clothing, is having these compression shorts. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make them and I'm going to sell them. So like I showed you earlier, you're going to get one. You're going to do all your running around stuff, and you're going to wear them. And hey, you love them, bro. I feel like when I put those things on, I can take on the world.
Nice.
So I want to build that into a brand that people can, enjoy, that they can use. That it's more, you can take your phone with you and you can go on an adventure and it's secure. The whole emotion behind it is freedom. I think that's what's lacking in the world at the moment, in every country. I don't know if there's a world or there's a country in this world where freedom is fair, freedom is 100%, authentic and, happening. You look at the West, you look on social media,
That's a
you wake
dog show at the moment.
you wake up in the morning and you feel like, as a man, your masculinity has been taken away from you, that you have to worry about providing and protecting for your family. We are born into this world where we say we have these freedoms, but there's also these things that you have to fall in line with. And I'm not calling it a free-for-all and we must just go into this purge, but I feel that there needs to be change. And I don't know if I'm going to one day stand up and like lead the masses into change, but I do think that, starting a business and like making its main goal about, find your freedom, be the best person you can be for yourself, for others, is a stepping block, and I think if we can just get that message more out to people about freedom, find your voice, be the person that you want to be 1% better every single day. Hopefully one day we can live in this Babylon state of pure bliss, you know. So yeah, that's basically where it's at. So it's
Changing the world one pair of hundies at a time.
one pair of hundies at a time. So
love
hopefully we're at the end stages of the whole manufacturing the first pair. So they'll be on Take a Lot, so people can go and get them there. We are planning a whole bunch of different marketing campaigns and making videos for it. So there'll be more to it. And then we're going to be doing a ladies range next year. It's going to be called Honeys.
Yes,
So you get the hundies and the honeys, and
Like
it's all
it.
about freedom and embracing your masculinity and femininity and being your true self, basically. Yeah,
That is wicked, bro.
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
we've been talking about this for a long time.
we have
A long time.
have.
So I'm so stoked to see
You've
it coming.
been there with me, Des.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to see it coming to fruition.
Cheers,
It's really cool.
Appreciate it.
Here's a question I ask everybody at the end. What does growing a pair mean to you?
I think growing a pair means a lot of things. For me, I think standing up, doing what you want to do, being the best person you can be for yourself and for others, living your life true. You know, everyone has a moral compass, and if you can set that thing to your true north and you stick to your word, you know, and instead of being a nice person, you be a good person, you do the right thing, you live a good life, you know, being kind to all kinds. I think growing a pair, you know, I can't speak for the ladies of the world, but, you know, us as men, standing up and doing the right thing. I think there's a lot of corruption in this world. I think there's a lot of wrongdoings, and if you truly stand up, grow a pair, you know, it means, you know, you're doing the right thing, because you're not going to grow a pair to just be a, you know, DRCK. Don't know if we can say that on your podcast.
Look, yeah, after clean cut Scully, I mean, we can
Oh,
say
really?
anything.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, don't be an arsehole, eh?
Yeah,
Don't walk
yeah.
around town being an arsehole. So if you're going to grow a pair, do it for the right reason. Grow a pair to not to stand up against anyone and be on your ace in this world. Grow a pair to stand up for yourself and for others.
That's fantastic.
You know, because you know, we need a community in this world, and we need to have, you know, better leaders. And I think the leaders at the moment are either corrupt or they're struggling to stay moral for whatever reason. And we need proper leadership in this world. So maybe some of these people in these new generations will stand up and be able to grow a pair to, you know, lead us to a better future.
Oh, that was a great answer.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for inviting me into your home,
course.
for making the time. I
Oh,
know
thanks to you,
your phone's
Des.
been hovering above there with all the calls coming through and
We've got
whatnot.
lots going on, hey?
But yeah, it's been so great to sit down and finally do this, because, I mean, yeah, I've been wanting to get you from before episode 1. So it's so
it's
cool
so good to be here, Des, and I'm so proud of what you've built.
Thanks, mate.
Thing's gonna soar, and
I hope so. Yeah.
hopefully within the next 50 years I can join in on the next one. Eh?
You will. No, dude. We're gonna, you know, like a year or something, we'll do another one, and because I want to know where you're going, and the people that are watching must know where you're going too. So
Hey,
that's
we'll
how
get
it
you over to
works.
Monaco.
I'll carry cables. It's cool for a week, bro. I'll do it. No stress. You
Nice.
can pay me in like fancy food or something.
Yo, I don't know if I can afford that Wagyu. Eh? That's ridiculous.
Customer pays for it.
Yeah.
That's how it works. But yeah, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.
Des, my man.
Like a man. Cheers, guys.